motion to approve the minutes from the February 17th, 2015 meeting.
At this time, I move that the minutes be accepted by the council.
Second.
Commissioner Danekas?
Aye.
Commissioner Rivera?
Aye.
Commissioner Yubora?
Aye.
Mayor Finley?
Aye. Next is to approve the invoices as presented for payment.
I'll make a motion to approve the bills as presented.
Second.
Commissioner Danekas?
Aye.
Commissioner Rivera?
Aye.
Commissioner Yubora?
Aye.
Mayor Finley?
Aye. Next is public comments on agenda items.
I have a question. I was looking through the bills and I see you're going through the NCICG. Are these grant applications for something special or what are you doing?
Is that 300 mitigation?
No, the other ones where they were, I lost it here. It said grants, so I assumed you're applying for grants. I was just wondering which, or where you were applying them.
The first page has 2
That's
600
the-
other ones.
Yeah, that's a hazard mitigation one, it
Right.
says.
No, the other one on the first page, mitigation with NCICG, it just grants ops.
Yeah, that's the mitigation. That's something that everybody really has to do is for the floodplain.
Oh, okay, I
Um,
wondered what it was.
Yeah, we had meetings and we had to update our floodplain and that was, they were part of that, so.
That makes sense, thank you.
Anybody else?
I just have a couple comments. First one is in regards to what's on the agenda tonight for the purchase of the electric department truck. Given the fact that we just borrowed $700,000 to pay our current bills, I would like the council to take into consideration the value that's needed for this truck at this time. And then the second one is more of a question. It's in regards to the ambulance director's ordinance. And based on what I read compared to the ambulance board recommendation, why there is such a big difference between those two.
Well, first of all, the ambulance board one, $10,000 increase at the ambulance board. I wanted to give one person, I guess we just didn't see fit that right now the 3% is what we are going with. So that's in regards to that one. And the 700,000, it's not something, it's a line of credit. It doesn't mean that we took a loan out for 700,000 and we use $700,000 to pay it. It's a line of credit that we do every year.
Have we borrowed against that line of credit to
We
date?
have borrowed against it. So. Any other questions? Right,
Is that made clear? Is that,
yeah, that was,
Yeah.
mhm.
That was in the last, that was in the spring down.
No, that was, yeah. Any other comments or questions? Okay, then we'll go to accept bid for sale of electric department truck.
We opened those bids this afternoon at 1 o'clock. There were 3 bidders. Becky was here, I was here, and Johnny Z. Becky, do you want to?
Sure, we have 3 bids. The top bid was $2,800 from Jerry Kramer. The second bid was $1,861 from Michael Gleski. And the third bid was Quality Electric for $890.
I'll make a motion, we hold it over until next meeting and then go with it.
Second.
Commissioner Danekas?
Aye.
Commissioner Rivera?
Aye.
Commissioner Yubora?
Aye.
Mayor Finley?
Aye. Next is the ordinance number 890030215, sets the wages for a city clerk and city attorney. Last time it was placed on file at the February 17 meeting.
I'll make
make a motion that we pass ordinance 89-030-215, setting the wages for the city clerk and the city attorney.
Second.
Commissioner Danakus?
Aye.
Commissioner LeBar?
Aye.
Commissioner DeBoer?
Aye.
Mayor Finley?
Aye. Next is ordinance number 891-030-215, sets the wage for ambulance director and the part-time personnel.
I'll make a motion that we accept ordinance number 891-030-215, setting the wages for the ambulance director and part-time personnel.
Second.
Commissioner Danakus?
Aye.
Commissioner LeBar?
Aye.
Commissioner DeBoer?
Aye.
Mayor Finley?
Aye. Next is ordinance 893-030-215, the purchase of truck for the electric department.
Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion that ordinance number 893-03-0215, purchase it's a material handler truck for the electric department.
Second.
Commissioner Danakus?
Aye.
Commissioner LeBar?
Aye.
Commissioner DeBoer?
Aye.
Mayor Finley?
Aye. The next we have to place bids on file for Walnut Street Water Main Project.
Yes, Your Honor, today we had the bid opening for the Walnut Street Water Main Project, which is basically from the Dry Bridge west to Mangle Avenue, approximately close to 1,000 feet of 10-inch line, I do believe, and then the services, et cetera, that go with it. Bids were opened up at 10 o'clock today. The engineer estimate from Advanced Engineering was $288,340. The apparent low bidder is Universal Asphalt at $269,987.19. The next lowest bid was from J.W. Osula at $300,969. We had Operman Construction at $362,326. Trevero Construction at $394,582.20. And Fisher Excavating at $435,056.15. So it appears if all is in order, the low bidder, approximately $20,000 under the engineer's estimate would be Universal Asphalt. But at this time, Your Honor, I move that the council hold the bids over until the next council meeting.
Second.
Commissioner Danakus?
Aye.
Commissioner LeBar?
Aye.
Commissioner DeBoer?
Aye.
Mayor Finley?
Aye. Next is to place bids on file for the Holiday Street Water Main Extension.
Also today at 10 a.m., bids were opened up on the Holiday Street Water Main Extension. For those individuals that may not know where this is, it's behind the Burger King. And what we've been able to do is determine with about 400 and some feet of 6-inch line, we'll be able to do a back feed to that area, we'll be able to connect. And so if we ever have a water break on the west end, anywhere near Delaney's, et cetera, in there, we should be able to isolate it a lot better and still be able to back feed the other businesses. So it really narrows down, if we do have a water break, the amount of businesses or people that would be affected. The engineer's estimate was $32,899. The apparent low bidder is J.W. Osula and Company at $28,621, roughly $4,000 under the engineer estimate. Next lowest bidder was Universal Asphalt at $29,356.40. John Pohar and Sons at $34,299. CNH Excavating at $34,586. Operman Construction at $37,488. And lastly, Fisher Excavating at $46,662.31. So at this time, Your Honor, I move that the council hold the bids over until the next council meeting.
Second.
Commissioner Danakus?
Aye.
Commissioner LeBar?
Aye.
Commissioner DeBoer?
Aye.
Mayor Finley?
Aye. Then we have the engagement letter for Hopkins and Associates.
Yeah, we're going to, the city's looking at changing auditors for the upcoming fiscal year ended April 30th, 2015, and we got a bid from Hopkins and Associates for $19,000. So at this time, I'd like to approve the engagement letter with Hopkins and Associates to do the City of Ogilvy's 2015 audit.
Second.
Second.
Commissioner Danakus?
Aye.
Commissioner Rivera?
Aye.
Commissioner Evora?
Aye.
Mayor Finley?
Aye. We place on file the agreement with IDOT for the FAU route number 6093 Walnut Street.
What this is an agreement that we have with IDOT, and this was mentioned previously. The main project this year, and I think the bid letting is April 24th, if I'm not mistaken, downstate, is gonna be Walnut Street, 200 feet east of Casey's, all the way through town, and all the way to Ed Hand Highway. And what this is an agreement with IDOT. The engineer estimate for the project is $683,000. With federal money, it's an 80-20 split between the city and the federal on the construction costs. So we're looking at receiving federal dollars of $546,400, and the city share would be $136,600. But what this does at this time is to pass the agreement with IDOT for the 6093 Walnut Street route. So at this time, Your Honor, I move that the council authorize the agreement with IDOT for the FAU route number 693 Walnut Street.
Second.
Commissioner Danakus?
Aye.
Commissioner Rivera?
Aye.
Commissioner Evora?
Aye.
Mayor Finley?
Aye. The next is a place on file, the resolution appropriate MFT funds for the 20%.
Right. Once again, on the same project, what we'd like to do is pass a resolution. The appropriate motor fuel tax funds is our share of this project. And I do believe it's $140,000. I'm looking for the paper as we speak.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. So at this time, Your Honor, I move that the council pass the resolution to appropriate motor fuel tax funds in the amount of $140,000/20% of the project. This time I move that forward.
Second.
Dennis, that'd be a motion to place it on file, right? Because it isn't, you have to place it on file, the MFT thing, and then
Yeah,
pass it.
place it on file. We're do that, Jim. That sounds good.
Commissioner Danakus?
Aye.
Commissioner Rivera?
Aye.
Commissioner Evora?
Aye.
Mayor Finley?
Aye. Next then is a place on file ordinance number 894031615. Renews the farm lease with Jack Mills.
The city clerk's office sent me a copy of the lease. This is for about, I think, 6 acres of land that's adjacent to the fire station. And we've been leasing this for, it's a rather nominal amount of money for the past few years. And what the clerk's office mentioned to me that we were going to send out the bill for this year, and we realized that the lease agreement had expired. So I have just prepared an ordinance that will place on file allowing us to enter into a new lease for this property. We're only getting $600 for it. It's not a lot of money. There is, but at least it's better than, just having it weeds, so it's, better than nothing. And this is what we've been charging for it.
I'll make a motion to place on file ordinance number 894-031615. Renews the farm lease for Jack Mills to place it on file.
Second.
Commissioner Danakus?
Aye.
Commissioner Rivera?
Aye.
Commissioner Evora?
Aye.
Mayor Finley?
Aye.
Well, one thing I also did in the lease, to try to avoid having to do a new ordinance every few years for this, I suggested that maybe the clerk's office would diary this for November 1st of each year, because I added, there's it's a form lease prepared by the Illinois Department, I think, University of Illinois. provided you wanna do it, you can just by motion renew the lease. Just FYI, try to remember to do that.
Okay. Next in public comments on any topic?
What's gonna be with this new marijuana thing? It was on TV about Oglesby, that we're gonna get this marijuana store or whatever. When's that gonna come about? It was on TV.
Actually, I got that in the mayor's report, but they'll start working on groundwork maybe the end of this week, beginning of next week.
Where's it gonna be?
It's right behind Love's, south of Love's.
Same side of the street?
Yes, right behind it, but I think maybe 200 yards or deeper, into it, so.
And on that topic, are we counting on that money for the next 20-some years and spending with that in mind? I'm hearing that it could be canceled in as little as 3 years if the pilot program is, nobody continues to like it. And I wonder how permanent is this building? Is it a pole barn that they can pull apart and haul it away, tax base and all?
I don't know what kind of money we're even expecting for us spending any money on it. I couldn't tell you, and how long it's gonna last, that's, I think, up in the air for everybody yet, so.
I'd have to comment that anytime the state of Illinois has a revenue stream, do you think they're gonna cancel it in 2 years? I would think not.
Why would it be so far back there?
It has to be so many yards, feet away from different things, and that's where it qualifies at.
That area?
Yes, it's the only spot that it qualifies at. It's not a store, it's just a growing facility. It's totally enclosed.
It'd be a big warehouse to me. It's a big warehouse. Fenced in, completely fenced in, I don't think anybody would notice it's there without.
I know everything's preliminary, they're working, they'll start working probably next week on some site work. But isn't the building, what is it, 200 by 240, something like that?
50,000 square foot is what has to go up right away. And they have approximately 6 months to be up and growing. That's what it calls for. I did talk to them, even today. The walls on that for it are supposed to be delivered Oglesby around May 8th. The temporary power needs to be out there, like next week or something like that? So, things are moving along. So everything is a go for Oglesby. It's just, of course, the weather is a little bit hesitant.
Well,
But they're gonna be starting groundwork, they're hoping by next week.
I seen on the news that the Green Thumb Industries let their Dixon site collapse. It just made me wonder.
Yeah, I knew about that beforehand, what their plan was and what they were doing. So, Oglesby is definitely a goal for them. So, I'm not worried about the Dixon one or anything else. I know what their plans are, and then they're starting Oglesby for sure, so.
One more question. What about the building that's supposed to come down? Isn't that gonna interfere with the street being fixed?
The building that's supposed to be coming down, that's also on my thing, we'll get my report done with. We'll be done either this week or next week they're gonna start, depending on what tomorrow brings. Because after tomorrow, the weather's showing is at least supposed to warm up, and I might talk to him today, and he's supposed to, they're gonna try maybe starting the end of this week or beginning of next week. So, you got me in both of them, Tony, so now my report's done already.
Question, there's a rumor, you know how rumors go, that the people who were going to put in the country market are now selling the property. Is there any truth to that?
Yeah, that's the first time I heard of it. So that's all I can tell you there. I can look into, when I talked to him a month ago, they weren't selling it, but, don't.
I just heard it recently from several sources.
Really?
Yeah.
Who were they?
So that's what I'm asking, it's just a rumor.
Yeah, you know what, I will look into into it, I'll find out, but I mean, that, like I said, last time I spoke to them last month, they had no intention of selling. So whether or not they are, I couldn't tell you. So,
Two more questions. How thick is the stripping of Walnut Street gonna be? And it's all just asphalt dropping at that price, I take it, right? How many inches are yanking off and repaved? 3 inches? Okay. And as long as I've been here, I didn't know that, 2-term city council members, got a, pension in healthcare. Is that true?
No.
That's a rumor.
we get no health care.
No.
Okay, pension, just a pension after 2 terms?
So you get $1 a week, $1 a month, $2?
Under IMRF, if you have
Yeah.
8 years and you are vested in IMRF.
The answer is
I
yes.
think after, this pension that's been floating around here, like you mentioned, the rumors or whatever. If you have 12 years of service, and if you don't get reelected, and if you choose to, you can collect your retirement, your pension. And that would consist of $28 a month. Okay? So that's your retirement. That's after 12 years. 16, I think it goes to 40. So after collecting for maybe 5 or 10 years, after you serve on the council, you may be able to pay for the gas that you used as you drove around every day.
So 2 terms, it would be 8 years. That's false. It's 12.
No, I'm just speaking on behalf of myself.
Oh, it's because you got it.
I had accumulated up to $28 a month.
Okay.
That's right. And if I'm not, well, I don't like, I'm not campaigning, but if you don't vote for me, I could start collecting. Term, 8 years you're vested with the excuse me, I'm doing that wrong. 8 years you're vested with the IMRF. It's a state law. Every council, they're entitled to it if they want it. And if you're vested after 8 years. And it's based on what you make. Us,
One and two
I almost
years.
said all of
One
it.
and- one and
Us
two years.
commissioners, excuse me, Jim. Us commissioners, we get $150 a month before taxes. And before our IMRF contribution, which we have to make. So it's based on your wages.
So is this a line item that shows up once a year on these things? How many commissioners and mayors do we have that do over the life of Oglesby are on this?
I don't know, the other ones, I have no idea.
I'm not.
You'd have to, I think it was passed, what was it, 82 or something, or 80s, way long before we came in.
So does it come out of an IMRF, or do we issue the checks from here?
It's an employee contribution generally.
It's IMRF, it's the state, it's a state pension plan.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
I would just like to request maybe if I can meet with the mayor and the city attorney on some Freedom of Information Act information I filed to get a little clarification after this meeting.
Sure. Any other comments or questions? Okay, we'll go to commission reports. Commissioner Danikus.
Count down my meetings that are running. That's all I'm doing. Nothing tonight.
Commissioner Rivera.
Nothing except, just like to thank the council for giving us our truck that we need so desperately.
Commissioner Yavara.
Nothing this evening, Your Honor.
Well, I did have 2 things, but I already said it because Tony bailed me on both of mine, so I don't have anything else.
At this time, I move for adjournment.
Second.